Joe Biden's holiday celebrations were thrown into a little bit of chaos when he apparently suffered an injury, or at least that's what he wants you to believe. The news says Joe Biden broke his foot while playing with the family dog. And that news has been all over. I personally don't like that all of these articles seem to be implying that it's the dog's fault. Honestly, back off the dog, it was Biden. But according to his doctor, Kevin O'Connor, said initial x-rays did not show any obvious fracture, but his clinical exam warranted more detailed imaging. Follow-up CT scan confirmed hairline fractures of President-elect Biden's lateral and intermediary cuneiform bones, which are in the midfoot. It is anticipated that he will likely require a walking boot for several weeks. So, Yasmin, apparently he's an older guy and he was playing around and he got a little bit too vigorous with it. And so he hurt his foot, which, he's an older guy. There are concerns about his health and everything. What did you think about this little health mishap for the president-elect?
It's just silly. If this is the kind of news that we have to look forward to for the next 4 years, then I am fully on board. I'm okay with this. I think the only thing when I initially heard about this story that I was annoyed with was like, man, everybody's already talking about how he's such an old man and he's not, I don't want to say anything or knock on some kind of wood, but so that's the only thing that I thought of was, it'll just be another, opportunity for people to be like, he's too old to be president, whatever. I don't care. But it is funny. I didn't know about all the conspiracy theories surrounding this foot thing until you and I were talking earlier, and I need to dive heavily into that later.
Conspiracy? You think these? Oh yeah, he just broke his foot playing with his dog. That's what the deep state dog wants you to believe.
It's too easy. No. Yeah.
Way too easy. Yeah, Biden's obviously lying. What actually happened is very clear. And it was predicted by none other than Julian's Rum, who I like, not as much as Cat Turd, but I like Julian's Rum, who says the Biden boot is coming with an image. Because there you see Hillary with the boot and John McCain with the boot. They both had boots at one point, and now Biden has a boot. Do you get where I'm going with this? No? Neither do I, but let's press on. Neon Revolt says, sure, chief, sure, he just broke his foot. Das Boot cometh. They know that something's up, even though we don't know what. Zelton Physics says, it's happening right before your eyes. What do you want to bet? It's just like Hillary and the nameless one's boots. Justice is coming. But what does this all mean? Well, it means this. He didn't wear the boot because he broke his foot. He wore the boot because he has an ankle monitor on, because he's been arrested, because the storm is coming. And so he, like Hillary and John McCain, are wearing the boot to cover up the fact that the government has arrested them because Q's prophecies are all coming true. And this is literally what they actually believe is happening.
Why is John McCain involved in this? Why?
Because he was bad. He was bad.
Yeah, he's a bad Republican. He's not a real Republican. He's a rhino, right? But like, how do they even come up with this stuff? It's like L. Ron Hubbard. He was, a science fiction writer. Then he started a religion. I feel like that's what we're witnessing right now. It feels very similar to the start of Scientology.
Yeah. It's so disgusting that I'm glad that John McCain doesn't have to hear this. Because obviously he passed away a couple of years ago of cancer. Or did he? Because they believe he committed suicide so that he wouldn't have to go to Guantanamo Bay. These are all things they actually believe. And there are millions of them. They are legion, literally. But no, they believe that Joe Biden has been arrested and he is covering up his ankle monitor. Because the government, which is secretly arresting people behind the scenes, is releasing them with ankle monitors, according to them, and just the normal kind that like people use that you can cover up with a boot. Why make it secret if you've arrested them? Why not track them in a different way? Why do you need the ankle monitor? He appears in public all the time. You know where he is. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. Why is it still a secret? Like you like that thing about Hillary was years ago. They just like left her out for years. What are they waiting for? None of this makes any sense. And by the way, you might think that the theory I'm saying they believe is that Joe Biden is wearing an ankle monitor, but that's not technically what they're saying because they don't believe that's Joe Biden. Take a look at this. They believe through careful analysis of Joe Biden's ears that he's a clone of Joe Biden. So wait, did they ankle monitor the clone? The clone didn't commit any crimes, it only existed for a couple of years. But they also believe that he died. Is it a zombie? Is it a clone of a zombie? Why did they arrest the zombie clone? But these are things that they actually believe. And these people, there are nearly as many Congress people who believe this stuff as are strong progressives in America. They've got a squad almost as big as ours at this point.
I think this is a lot of fun for me. All of this is hilarious. I don't know why Joe Biden's been arrested. That hasn't come up. What has he done that's worthy of being arrested? And I like how we're gonna arrest him, put an ankle monitor on him, make him fake a foot injury to put a boot on, and we're still gonna inaugurate him in January. Like, that's fine. That none of it makes any sense. But
Q works in mysterious ways, Yasmin.
As long the way I see it is like, let them occupy themselves with this and just like, you guys do that. It's fine. It's worrisome that they're attracting more followers, but
that's my fear. I mean, like, I wish that I could agree, but the thing is, like, not only are they attracting followers and ruining families. I mean, I'm sure there's people watching this right now that have lost relatives to this insanity. But every once in a while, they have some murderous plot that they either follow through with or thankfully get stopped beforehand. But QAnon supporters have been ready to commit acts of violence in multiple cases, including related to the election. And so when you keep telling them that Joe Biden is about to be arrested, so don't worry, he's not gonna be president, but it's not true, and he is gonna be president, what happens to that fragile mind when they realize that the Q thing isn't true? I don't know. Here's an idea. The reason that Joe Biden is wearing a boot and that Hillary Clinton was wearing a boot and Joe Biden was wearing a boot is because they're really old. They're all really old people, and really old people break their bones sometimes. It just happens. That's a thing that happens. And you guys should not be shocked by this. And I'm speaking to the QAnon people as you guys, even though they're certainly not watching this. You guys pivoted from saying that Joe Biden is so fragile, he won't last a month, to, well, now any injury is proof that he's been arrested. He couldn't ever injure himself. You thought he was falling apart at the seams. But they forget it when it becomes more exciting to have his injuries be ephemeral. Anyway.
I mean, it's funny because that was my initial concern, was that they were gonna talk about how old he is and falling apart. But then they just like went in a completely different direction. So my initial worry, I don't have to worry about it anymore. They just, it's like the things that they come up with is just like, as a writer, I'm impressed. I wish I could come up with something like that.
I do wonder, because it does come out of it gets distributed so quickly, and then all of a sudden a lot of people are talking about it, and then they add new wrinkles to it. Like I did a live video about the Kraken thing, and they all believe it's some different military program, but somebody came up with the idea that it was a military program. Is this basically like fanfic? Is QAnon political fanfic?
That's what it feels like. That's really what it feels like, and I've been known to like dive into some fanfic circles just to see what's going on in there. And they're strange. They're very strange. And a lot of this, it's all very disjointed too, right? So it's not coming from any one source specifically. It's like somebody says something and then somebody else is like, oh, maybe this too. And so I think that's why it's so fragmented and just, illogical, nonsensical, hard to follow. That's the nature of these things.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.